So, hi guys, my name is Kevon.
Hi guys.
This is always song. Yeah, hi guys, my name is Kevon. I'm Kevon David. This is my brother.
Kenneth. David.
Alright, so this was supposed to be our second podcast. We don't really have a name. We're still bouncing around. What was the name that you came up with?
I came up with David's podcast
Yeah, but
because we're David brothers.
yeah. So I don't know. Probably it's a stick. We don't know. Anyhow, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by saying a bit about ourselves, and then we'll get into quite a few topics. So, as you'll note from the first podcast that will be posted, that we're going to have a lot of organic conversations. Basically, mean we'll flow because our minds work like that. It's never systematic. Okay, we go from one to two to three. It's all over the place, but it's all connected. And in the end, what we will be doing is what are we doing with the most Guyanese thing?
The what the idea that I gave him was I saw this YouTube video. Before I go on, most of our content will be because of some inspiration that we would have gotten from a YouTube video. So I was inspired, or I got the idea to do a "How Guyanese are you" at the end of a video, just to make it a bit authentic, make it more home friendly, for the lack of a better word. Yeah, make it more local, make it sound more local.
Basically,
So we will try to do a "How Guyanese are you" at the end of every video. Just tell us if you think that's a good idea after you would have watched it at the end of the video. I think it's a pretty good idea, and we're probably gonna do it anyway. So yeah.
all right, great. So you want to start or you gonna start? Anyhow, all right. So I'm 28. Just turned 28 a couple of days ago, the 11th of September. Um, I'm not into the whole astronaut that word. But people say I'm a Virgo. I don't live by those cause. I'm a Christian. I can say that is the word I live by. Not perfect. Um, I'm an,
What do you do?
I know, but I'll get into that. All right. So I currently attend the University of Ghana. I'm in my final year. Should have been graduating, but I'm in my final year. Um, I'm an entrepreneur. I do a number of things. I do investing, personal training, catering, and as well as anything that I can make a fast turnover on. I've got that little eye. So just in case if you're interested in any of the above, you can contact me via email. kinfvsol1@gmail.com, so we can talk about a few things. My number, I'm not certain. Oh, I can give you my business number, which is 657-9621, and we can talk business. Let's get there. Yes, sir. Yeah, okay.
So my name is Kenneth David again. I am a drug inspector at the at the government analyst food and drug department. I graduated last year,
Well, I'm
2019.
sorry. I'm studying physiotherapy, medical rehabilitation. I forgot to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's doing medical rehabilitation. By the way, there are three of us. I'm the second one. Kevon is the eldest, and Kempton he's out. I'm not sure if he'll be in every video, but you'll see him from time to time. Hopefully, he's a
Yeah,
bit camera
hopefully.
shy. But
Yes.
I digress. I am 23 years old. I will be 24 next year. And yeah, I think I gave you enough information about myself. I'm 23 years old. I work at the government analyst food and drug department. I have a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. It's kind of a flex, but it's not. It is what it is. And we were inspired to do a podcast based on, like I said earlier, we were inspired to do a podcast and we normally have conversations, and these conversations will lead to another, and it's things that we just want to share our opinions on politics, religion. We want to share our opinions on what else
That's it.
relationships, books.
Yeah.
Reading is very important,
Yes. Yes. It is. It
and
is.
current what we are actually going through currently. Not everything will use discretion, but
Real.
yeah. So let's first talk about our relationship as siblings. Now, our relationship as siblings is very unique. I could remember in secondary school that there was this guy. He saw us talking, me and Kevin. He saw Kevin and I speaking, and he was saying, "You know, I don't live together." I said, "Yeah, we live together." Man, I said, "Y'all talking like y'all never see each other in a long, long time." He said, I was surprised because I assume that every individual, every sibling has that kind of relationship. And it's not something that you would find.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So true. Because I mean, I can say shout out to our mother, Abigail Eder, as well
Yeah.
as our father,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
particularly our mother because she was like, okay, I made three of you, one to bowl, one to bat, one to field, and you must be each other's friend before you be friends with anybody else. So anywhere we go, people be like, you guys are brothers. Because and it's strange, like why am I not supposed to be your friend? We're living in the same house,
House.
we're eating from the same pot, we sleep in the same space, and we can't have a conversation. Like I must always, I guess though it got to do with the fact that anything can happen at any time,
Mm.
and we know this for a fact. And given that also, every time we see each other, it's like he's glad to see us living. Hey, what's going on? Because there are things that we
Yeah.
can talk about that we won't talk with anyone else.
And sometimes I might have something on my mind, and then I see Kevin and say, "Hey, bye, if you know what happened, da 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 da." So we have that kind of relationship. We have the kind of relationship where we would share a lot of things, and books. Like I said, books. We would share things that we watch, music, and all of that inspired us to share our opinions about different topics, and I believe that we have something of value to offer, and that's what we're going to be doing throughout for the rest of however long we
Along
do
this,
the
exactly.
podcast for. We'll try our best to be posting videos constantly, and yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy this. I hope that you guys learn from whatever we are putting out there, and don't feel anyway, don't feel shy, or feel free to comment, feel free to make your suggestions, feel free to criticize, but please be constructive. We're now starting out, and
Exactly. Oh, and please, y'all don't use indecent language. I
yeah.
mean, I know it's easy to get, um, let it get ahead of you or get ahead of yourself. Please don't. Please don't. Because we're trying to keep it as clean as possible. At times, you might hear us saying, like shit, things like that, but we'll try not to use indecent language as much as possible.
Mm,
We really want to have some clean content.
mm,
So even in your comments, let them be, like I say, it could be open mind. You can say what you want to say, but you can say it without using the F or the S word, you know. So don't keep it too Guyanese when it comes to that. Yeah. So as on the topic of siblings, like tell me, why is it you think that other people don't share the same love as we, I mean, I'm not saying that they don't love each other, but they display their love differently. Like you'd see some people like they don't ever get along. It might be for like a short period of time, or it's like when everybody eating, there's the only time they're not at each other's neck. Then other than that, like they would pass each other straight. Like I know a lot of siblings on campus, and like be like, oh hey, look your brother, look your sister, and people be like, hey, what's going on, or whatever it is. They just be like, just pass straight.
We would more be like, hey, we're gonna, or pound each other or something.
Yeah.
But individuals would pass the siblings straight. Hey, you sure this your sister? Or you sure this your brother?
Straight. Like
Yeah.
I mean, even if look, it's even though it's the three of us, well, it's the three of us from mother. We have other siblings, and at no point in time, like it's a sibling regardless of this is blood. So you gotta be like, hey, what's going on? Check up, whatever it is, because there's so many things that happen in the day that you just want to share, you just want to hear something. I have a girlfriend, and I might talk to she about whatever it is, but more than likely, and even if she's not talking, I just involve them because that's what I'm accustomed to. And I don't know why is it so hard. I wonder if it's a case where also you can look back on parents not, helping their children along. That okay, make sure y'all talk and whatnot. And it just must be like a business. If you hear some siblings now, you feel it's a business meeting.
I think, to answer your question, I think the reason why individuals are not as close as is because it's the culture within the home, where whatever the parent or parents, the culture that they create or the environment that they create would affect the sibling relationship. Like for example, mommy created the environment where she made us interact more with each other, rather, and she made us interact more with each other more than that of people on the outside, or with our neighbors or so on. So I believe that it's the culture that the parents create, and also it could be age difference.
Yeah, that is
Age
true.
difference is
That is true.
is another one,
We had
because
a
remember,
generational gap. Yeah.
if you don't have if you're interested in something, I may not be interested in it. There's difference of interest. As remember, depending on your age, you would be. Let me say I'm 13. I won't be interested in what a 7-year-old would be interested in.
Exactly.
You understand? Maybe games would be the only thing
Yeah,
that connects us.
there's a
But
gap.
apart from that,
Yeah, that's so true. Because
It's
I mean,
age.
as much as we're close knit, there was a period that other than like if we're playing sports or so, like we can't really communicate because Kenneth and I are roughly it's
four and a half.
4 years,
6
4
months.
months, or
4 years, 4 months?
or 4 years, 5 months.
4 months.
Yeah,
Come
4 years, 4
May,
months. Yeah, May
September.
11th, 7,
4 years, 5
whatever it is. But yeah, so it might not seem like a lot, but it is. So it's like, so I'm here at whatever age, and then he's smaller, and then Kempton is 2 years smaller than he is. So now there's this whole big gap. So like when the two of them could like talk, 'cause
Yeah.
the gap is not as small. I'm just there like, okay, and it's a case where my age in particular, like I was the only cousin that wasn't within the same age range of anybody else, so I can't really share a lot. But then, as they got older now, they would have left secondary school and so now they're technically adults in some. So now we could all connect on a certain. We can talk about a lot of things now because they can understand a lot more mentally and they can grasp it rather than if I'm um if I'm 11, Kent is roughly 6. At 11, I now going through and there are things happening at 11 that came at 6 or 5.
Oh.
You couldn't really like process. Like if I talk about God,
The thing, what we used to bond over, we used to bond over Need for Speed,
Yeah, yes.
computer games at that time. It was
Yeah.
computer games, and what made us come closer together was cricket.
Yeah.
We used to play cricket a lot together.
Mhm.
So that's what made us come together as siblings. So let me ask you a question. What do you think, since persons don't have that kind of relationship that we have,
Mhm.
with their siblings? What's something that you think that they should do or be intentional about if they want to cultivate that kind of relationship?
I think a starting point is to find to find a neutral ground,
Mm.
because I mean, and when I say mutual ground, I mean like well, actually not, I mean it could be a case where even to all right, they could start out as be watching the same show. Let 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 let's say it's just two of them, right?
Mm.
There's this show.
Mm.
I've never watched it. You've never watched it. Hey, let's watch this show together and start somewhere. It might seem baseless,
Mm.
but at least it's somewhere, because at least now we have conversation, we can talk, and then from then it's like, okay, well, from there you can pick up, or you might pay attention and say, well, I see sis or bro like read,
Mm.
so I can let me buy a book for them. It might not be nothing expensive, but let me
Mm.
buy a book for they like these type of books. And then you say, well, here's all, since they like this, let me read the book as they read it up. So at least we can get more content that we could negotiate on. Like you could really talk about, because even for us, we read a lot.
Mm.
Well, not me as much as before, but I still read. So it was a case whereby, a mother started a culture, like, so when I was small, like, we used to go to Austin's a lot, and
Austin's
so
bookstore is a store in Guyana, a bookstore in Guyana.
yeah,
One of the probably largest bookstore in
yeah,
Guyana.
and it is, I mean, for us, as our parents couldn't afford the books. Now look, man, it's not that expensive, but it's just that um it was out of our
Budget.
budget, right? So my mother's like, look, we not because we can't afford it, mean we can't read it. So I'd be speed reading, like we'd go at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be speed reading through every time my mother got a chance. So I know that was our Saturday ritual. I can't even remember who was keeping you all kept on it. I
This is,
guess y'all
this is
just
a good
like,
question.
because we like, okay, we think, and we go and I'm like, oh, oh, okay. So anyhow, I'm not sure mommy did that with you,
No,
but I think
you're the
it
only
was a case
person.
where, yeah, I started taking them, and then we'd go in, and then I think it was Saints, right? We really got to start opening.
No, I was here's what really got me into reading was a book I found under in a cupboard in the
Mhm.
cupboard down below your wardrobe.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a cupboard full of old books
yeah.
that he has.
We have a makeshift
I was going
library.
through that for something, and I saw Nancy Drew
Oh,
on the Red Gate Farm.
yeah.
So that book got me hooked on reading. Before I used to read all the time, but I wasn't so interested. But something about the book, something about it, just got me hooked on reading a lot.
And actually, that's surprising, I hear why. Those actually the like when I started reading like actual novels, because even though speed reading was like these little books, like I used to read a lot of Enid Blyton, right? So
Enid
Enid
Blyton,
Blyton was a series of short stories,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the same Red Gate Farm, that was actually the very first book. I'm ashamed. Let me see. Oh, mom used to teach at St. George's, and somebody left the book, and mom was like, "Oh, you want this book?" And it's like, "All right, cool." And that was actually the first book, and I was in love with Nancy Drew. Like I read so much of Nancy Drew. He's like, "Yo, this reading thing
Same,
is,
same.
is dope."
Mm.
And and for like a long while, like I was reading Nancy Drew, but I wasn't like open myself to other reading, like in terms of like bigger novels, like I'd say big people novels, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
Novel that
yeah, like you had
picture
like
that what you call
no,
it?
like like the Pelican Brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
What
was
kind of
more.
novels you would call that?
Um,
Well, it's,
for me, I see it as more like a professional line, because like the Pelican
yeah, but
Brief.
well, how would they when they say when we are referring to those books, right?
Mhm.
We say novel.
Yeah, we usually just call it a novel.
So what's the difference between
I,
Nancy
I,
Drew novel and Pelican Brief?
I think it's just a matter of what is happening in the book. Fair enough, it might be fiction. I can't remember if Pelican Brief was fiction or
Most of
anything.
those were non-fiction. Nancy Drew used to get pictures, right?
Yeah,
But
but not that much. Like,
something
but it was
I
like
know, I
I don't
know. It
know.
was a but Pelican Brief again none.
It was
Something.
what was the catch with Nancy Drew? Well, first the cover, and then you had these little pictures inside. But it was like I don't know. Come to think, I've never really thought about it. Like I don't know, like what exactly. Um, well, like you said, the events that's happening inside it's slightly different in terms of people don't really die in Nancy Drew. I've never really heard of anybody. I know people getting sick. Nancy Drew would be in a pickle all the time. Like she was white, like white. Cause
Mm.
like Trouble was like her middle name. Anything because it was Nancy, George, and Bess.
But I can't remember. I
Yeah,
remember
it was
best.
like yeah, got Bess I think had the short here and anyhow.
So, what got you interested in reading non-fiction books?
Okay, I think it was Uncle Kwame. Because I was reading something a day. Yeah, you see, I already know. So it's a case whereby I was reading and he was like, what is that? I was like, oh, this is whatever book.
The man didn't like Nancy Drew at all.
And he
Not
was
Nancy Drew, he didn't like
Like
Archie.
Oh, yeah,
He hated Archie. I was
And
like,
we loved Archie. We loved Archie. Like, wow. Like, remember when we went by Siraj, which is my uncle's friend? And he had like a whole box load of Archie.
Mm.
So anyhow, so when I was reading the book and he kept looking at me, he was like, why are you reading this book? And then he started breaking like, what will you learn? How will you apply it to life? And I was like, I think about, I was in my teens, like early teens. And for me, it was like, I don't have anything to study. This is good content for me,
yeah.
But then he was like, my uncle is very realistic. Like, he doesn't sugarcoat me like, okay, well, you have some failure, blah blah. He's like, okay, you have to go to A, to B, to C, and this is what happens if you do this. So because of that, he changed my perspective in how I looked at his books. Because after he spoke to me, of course, I finished the book, but then I got the book like 2 weeks later, and I was reading it and I was like, I don't like this book. Like, not that I don't like it, but it doesn't appeal to me anymore because I was like, oh.
Mm.
And we were speaking, something we were speaking about, and the Pelican Brief came up.
Mm.
And I don't know, somehow soon after, like 3 days after, I got the book. I actually still have it. And then it was like, wow, this is what.
But
this is what
Pelican Brief is still a fictional book though.
Mm.
I talk about like what got you into reading the non-fictional. What
Oh,
got you
in
into reading
terms of, like,
non-fictional books?
oh, my bad. Just like 40,000 or
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Oh, well, sorry viewers, that was so in terms of actually it was on Kwame again,
Mm.
yet again.
Mm.
Um, he it was a long conversation, and
Mm.
the end of the story was he was like, you need if you want to get ahead in life, you need to read these books.
For me,
Oh, and
I-
2015.
oh, for me,
2015 was the
it was like I said, I still read books that I still read non-fictional. I still read fictional books, but for me, what got me into reading non-fictional books is because of really not knowing how to maneuver life. If I'm being real, um, yeah, I had daddy. You were the father figure. I didn't. We had daddy in our life. Daddy was a provider. You were the kind of emotional in a way, but still, I hadn't a guide. Nobody was there to tell me, okay, Kenneth, this is how we're supposed to do certain things. I had theories. I used to give advice to women how to run a relationship. I never went in a relationship.
I think we've all been there. I think
But-
we've all been there.
I just wanted to know how exactly I could be successful in the sense that how can I be? Well, I guess my idea of success then was get money, get a wife, children, get just live and after getting a wife and children, live a life that where I'm free to do whatever it is that I want to do. And I was always intrigued of how exactly. I was just curious, how exactly am I going to get there? Nobody, really, nobody was there to really say, Kenneth, this is how you're supposed to do it. Uncle, I mean, yeah, in a way, but we never really, how to put it? Uncle, I mean, was there, is here in our lives, but he's not so much there. He's not somebody I'd see every day, s- speak to every day. I needed somebody or something to guide me. And what really catapulted that or what really ignited my curiosity was or keep it burning was when I was in Saints.
Yeah,
In
yeah. I
Saints was
remember God had an extensive library.
yeah,
Sorry.
they had an extensive library, and I was like, man, they had a lot of books that could help you to improve yourself, and that was even an introduction to self improvement. And but I'll get more into that why I went full into self improvement just now. But yeah, I started reading books. It's like did Saints has so many books that could make you that gives you perspective on life, and nobody
It was
ain't paying
right.
attention. And it was sad. It's like no, yeah, let's see these books.
But I think there's a common thing in general in the world today,
Yeah.
and you see a lot of books about it. If you want to hide something, just put it in a book.
People like to use the excuse, I like reading. Well, to get some call audiobook, get YouTube videos, but
Exactly.
I digress. Continue, continue.
Yeah, because it's a case whereby look, the content is always it was always there, and there's people always giving advice. So most times, people think by getting ahead is to look at how somebody who gets money. How I see this man is do this, and this is how he getting rich. I can go that what. Most time when you speak to a lot of people with money, they won't give you all their secrets, of course not, because more than likely you might end up being a competitor. Not everyone likes the idea of having a competitor, so they're going to tell you the surface level of what they're doing, not everything that was happening in back. Because some people they see when somebody go when it reaches to the news, okay, this business is just being launched and this is happening, but then see what is happening 8 years or 5 years down the line. This person is poor and a lot of things. And at first, I used to think, they just saying that for people to feel pity, but realistically, it happens. Some people are in a
Thi-
place. It's like, oh my
This
gosh,
this is the
what?
thing. Sorry to cut you. That's the thing. What I was looking at is like these people are rich. I don't come from a rich family. So I wanted to know who exactly went through the same thing I went through or going through the same thing I'm going through, and I want to know how they got from nothing to something. They have people who were born into wealth, and naturally, I was reading some book. Persons are either born with a wealthy mindset, because or meaning that they come from a family of wealth, so that the mindset is constantly being um, pushed on them, or they're being constantly what's the word?
Molded, maybe?
They're being molded. They're being I forget what's the word, but because they're in condition, because they're being conditioned in that environment, that's how they naturally get the wealthy mindset, as opposed to individuals who won't come from there. They would have to find people to get there. And I wanted to know, since I don't come from a wealthy family, I wanted to know what persons who got it out of the mud, so to speak. I want to know how they got to where they got there. How what was it? What are the things that you did to get there? And that's what I want to do to get to. Well, for me now, wealth is I wealth is getting enough money to do whatever I want whenever I want. But it doesn't have to be billions of dollars. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
mean
true.
there's too much money
It's like it's like you said.
to
It's
spend.
wealth is subjective
Yeah.
because a lot of people wealth for them is different. Um, for me, it's a case whereby for me, I look at it. I don't ever think one dimension. Okay, fair enough. I'd like to have money, right? But I think, like they say, iron is sharpen iron. So it's like every time I'm doing something, I do even ask, and that is a case where when I'm doing something, I try to pull the people who I think
Mm-hmm.
should be going somewhere with me
Mm-hmm.
because it's a case whereby before, you're trying to help everybody, but then it's like you could take the energy and use it for something and building yourself because a lot of times like you extend your arm so much and then you're left with nothing. So when everybody else climbing
Mm-hmm.
the ladder, you're still there, God struggling your own.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand it. And for me, you can't blame people because in the end of the day, you still got build yourself. It's just like um, getting to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could do so much things on this earth. If you don't do nothing for God, hey, all that is nothing. That goes poof.
Yeah. All the
Nothing.
I mean the book Ecclesiastes. This where Solomon was like, "Yo, everything you're doing is vanity." And
Mhm.
when I was young, this is funny. When I was younger, read the Bible. Read my Bible. It was so boring to me. The Bible is just like, although I loved reading, then I really love. I was in Farm 2 or Farm 3. I liked reading then, right? But when I open the Bible, it's like, what's this? I think this. I'm going on a tangent a little bit. I think in order to read the Bible, you have to have questions when you're going to read it. You have to want to know how to live a Christian life. If you have no interest in how to live a Christian life, you shouldn't read the Bible. Or if you're trying to find truth,
Mhm.
but you can't just pick up a book. You can't pick up a book and you're interested in it.
Yeah,
With
that's
any
true.
book.
That's true.
If people talking about is for example, if people talking about astrophysics and so, you think I read a book on astrophysics? I don't care about astrophysics. But if I was a physicist, if I were a physicist, then I would read.
Exactly.
Same with, and that's one of the reasons why I even read the Bible, because part of it is self improvement, and the major part, since I'm a Christian, I want to know how to live a Christian life. I have to read the Bible. I have to know Christian principles and how to maneuver certain situations. As a Christian, there's a certain way you have to handle certain situations as a Christian. So that's why I go to the Bible to read it. But I digress. I was talking about Solomon speaking on the fact that everything that you earn on earth, he said what I think it's chapter 4. He was talking about being so wealthy, but he was sorrowful because of it. He was sorrowful, and the reason why was because he said, "You earn so much, you work so hard, just to die and leave all that money to somebody else
to
who
spend it.
who might not
Work.
be able to even manage the money." So what was it? What was it
all worth?
for? What was it for? So material wealth, it's good to have wealth. In the Bible, speaks of that. I think in the same chapter I read, in the chapter that I read today, he was talking about it's good to enjoy your wealth when you're on earth. That's God's gift to you. Enjoy the money that while you have it, but don't chase after it. A man who chases after money will not be happy again. And if you chase after money, when you die, he made a statement. You will leave this earth the same way you're born. Meaning, You came into this earth without possessions and you leave this earth without possessions. What really matters when you leave this earth? What really matters when you leave this earth is relationship with God. You made impact. We spoke about this
Yeah.
already. You can make impact in this world. You can make an impact in this world. You could change like millions of lives. You could shift the whole culture. But what matters is your soul at the end of it all.
Mhm.
Like, did you have a relationship with God? You know, was it to suffer forever? You can't even
Can't
fathom what's
even
forever.
suffer.
You can't even fathom what's forever. You understand? So, material wealth.
Mind you, we're not preaching to be broke or to be lazy, right?
No.
Because like look, the thing is, being a Christian is never easy.
God is impossible.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Right. So I was saying being a Christian is never easy. Never.
What do you mean by that?
When I said
Why
never
you said it's not easy?
meaning that okay, so we have the world, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of things it is easy to live the way the world. Meaning that okay, I can make this decision just because I feel is the right thing. I don't care what nobody says the right thing. However, there's a book with all the laws. So it's just like in this world, in this physical world, there are laws to govern this physical body.
Mhm.
And there's a book to govern your spiritual body. Right? And in it they get decisions you gotta make, right? So I mean they get laws that there are laws that govern both physical and spiritual that is work hand in hand. Right? Like general laws like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, things like
And
that,
the
right?
basic law.
Yeah, the basic laws, right?
Mm.
Now, for instance, like a lot of times, even I'm guilty about it. Okay, so there's a decision to be made, and sometimes the top of your mind, you're like, hey, I can do this. I'm really concerned. This is why God do. But then after you would have done the action, then you click, shucks. But this is not something that I should be doing if I'm a Christian, because
Yep.
I don't care who. It's not about who looking at me here, but it's who I can see, who looking and paying attention. Because now I go and do this. Sometimes it might be something I do in private,
Mhm.
but it's only between probably me and the person on earth. But they guess they still get this
God.
still, and I
And he's
still
the
got,
final.
yeah, and
The
it's
Bible.
like,
The
oh
Bible.
gosh,
The Bible speaks about, or in the Bible it talks about God will make you give an account for every word and action that you do on earth. So I remember the part in the Bible is talking about don't waste your words. But the reason why I got into I had so many thoughts just now. The reason why I really got into Christianity, now we could talk about, it was because of a heartbreak. I think heartbreaks, because I have this idea now, because when you're going through it, you see videos talking about it, and then when in retrospect you could see what they're talking about. When I was going through it, I needed to figure out when you have when you have a heartbreak, it causes you to reflect. Some people is be sad and be depressed. Yeah,
some people
but
just jumped at another
sometimes
one.
it's question why it didn't work out. What I could do better. So now to start a question, a self-improvement question. Because you're being reflective, now you're like, alright, why it didn't work out? Maybe you used to lie a lot. Maybe you were selfish. Maybe you were too needy. So all that you have to, maybe maybe you don't know that you were too needy, but because you're asking why it didn't work, or now it forces you to find the answers in different ways, from videos, from books, and religion. You more oftentimes than now, whenever somebody experiences what's the word? Not breakthrough. What's the opposite of breakthrough? A setback. Whenever somebody experiences a setback, they they would question like, why didn't this work out?
Mm,
You
yeah.
understand?
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
They would ask themselves, why could I do better in this situation? I mean, and in asking those questions, you go to God. Yeah, come back.
Mm-hmm.
You go to God and ask God. You you ask God. It's basic, especially when it comes to relationship, buddy. When it comes to relationship, you ask some of the most fundamental questions. You ask questions like, "Who am I?" There's a fundamental before you
A
never used
lot
to
of
ask them.
people,
Now you
a lot of
ask,
people can't even answer them.
"Who am I?" No, because you ask who am I, you know somebody can answer you. Why am I here on earth? What was the reason for even going through all this? What was the reason for this going through this pain and fundamental questions is ask yourself. So what really got me into reading the Bible was because I would have experienced a heartbreak and excuse me. Yeah, I would have experienced a heartbreak and got me asking fundamental questions. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry guys. So yeah, I was talking about the importance of or the reason why I pursued Christianity was because I was going through a heartbreak. I had to ask myself fundamental questions
Mm-hmm.
about who I am, and it really got me into self improvement in general. But that really, in terms of reading the Bible, that's what really got me more interested in figuring out who I am in God because He made me. So He made me for a purpose. The Bible says that God imparted in every man a divine purpose, and it's only through God you can find out that purpose. So yeah, like I said, I had to figure out what it is that I want to do in my life, and yeah, that stemmed from a heartbreak. You don't if you don't know where you're going, it can be misleading to a young lady. We'll get into that later on. But yeah, that's what got me into self improvement and into reading the Bible. So the reading the Bible and so on is part of self improvement, but I don't even know why I'm differentiating it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But I think for me, it's a case whereby most times, like when my back was there, because when 2015 happened,
Mm,
at some point, yeah, you'll know when we refer to 2015.
yeah.
But yeah, when 2015 happened, it's a case where
We could talk about it.
yeah,
2015, we went through a difficult moment. We financially,
yeah, I
we were
lost my
broke.
yeah, I lost my job.
Mm.
It was mom, and I guess that too. I just can't understand what
Well,
really really give
we're
it
not
back.
even.
I don't know. I
But
don't
you
know.
went to life is
But it was like
stuff you give him money, but something
yeah,
happened.
I don't even know. But anyhow, so during that phase, like, I've never had setback of that origin. Most times, I always have a backup plan. I didn't have a backup plan for that at all. But I must say, it was a bittersweet moment because, well, now it's sweet. Back then, it was really bitter. But
Oh
reflecting on it,
gosh.
it's like no, it was a case whereby because of that, one, I was able to, well, all of us, we were actually able to really find God.
It was actually it was around that time is when we actually started going to church.
Exactly.
We were ID saying I was ID saying that it was because we going to church make we go through them. I used to say them
Mm-hmm.
because as soon as we start with the church, get hit with with financial stress.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my gosh,
it was crazy.
bro, we can talk about them.
Yeah.
We will talk
we
about
will,
that
we will, we
later.
will do because like I think this when I first know about what depression was, um,
Mm.
and it was that, but we need a whole other podcast. What's something too? Yeah, about that. We can. We're a bit pressed for time. Anyhow, so like I said, 2015. I'd say like how people say yes, fall off. So yes, we fell off. but we found God. We got baptized the 26th December, or Boxing
26th.
Day as people know it.
People don't even remember though. I ain't even honestly. The reason I was like, why? How I don't know the day I get reborn?
Yeah, that
That's
that
like
is
this to me is
important.
significant. It's
Yeah.
significant. Not knocking on anybody who doesn't know,
Uh,
but it's just like it's a significant day. You forget. It's like forgetting your birthday. But
exactly.
anyway,
Yeah. So after that, 2015, things started looking up. I started working at banks. Then I started UG, and things just changed around. And because of that, I was able to put a lot of things into place. And then in 2017, um, joining the student society, and a whole lot of other avenues started opening up. And then I met some really great people. We got close to them. There's Joshua, Alex, or Marvin Scott. Then there's Malcolm. So we formed this thing called Team Dynamic. And I think this was the first time I've ever really been in a group outside of my close friends that, I was able to be this productive. And then I met with this guy, Norwell Hines, and he really opened my eyes on a lot of things in terms of thinking and looking at the world. It was completely different. And I must say, in terms of how I spoke, my presentation,
these point of views we have to talk about.
yeah, it was just different altogether. And through that, I started reading a lot more, and it was a case whereby, like, I don't think I've ever openly said this, well, to Malcolm, that is, but Malcolm really inspired me in terms of him coming from Queens and so on. I mean, even if he didn't have his life together, like, I was watching this podcast, Social Proof, and it says it's all about perception.
You were watching a podcast, Social Proof.
Yeah, called Social Proof. And the guy was saying it all starts with perception. And it's whatever people perceive, that's how they react to you. So it was like, damn, by this man always on top, and he always doing things right. And it was like, I need to be ahead, because I mean I'm the oldest out of the four of us, but in my eyes, I'm nobody. And it's not like I wanted fame, but I just really wanted to have my life together. I needed to understand. And I think the first real book I had in nonfiction was 48 Laws of Power. This guy, George, I know I forget George, he's from my rugby club. And it was like, George, I just really want, because I went into Austin, it's like, George, I really want this book. I was watching a lot of things in YouTube, and people kept referring, even in these series and so on, people kept speaking about 48 Laws of Power as like a standard book. I was like, I need this.
Yes, people, we read non-fictional
And
books.
it was
We read
astronomical.
secular books, sorry.
Exactly.
It's not just the Bible, but we apply the meat and bone principle because I believe a lot of secular books, let's be honest, a lot of Christians haven't had the same experiences as secular people.
But
At least, especially when it comes to things of this world. I know we're not supposed to be worldly beings, but we are living in this world, and if we want to be successful in this world,
Exactly.
we need people who would have had experience in this world.
exactly.
Yeah, you get godly guidance, but at the same time, just like how we need teachers and lecturers, we need persons, or we need entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, persons who aren't even Christians to teach us how to maneuver this life, because this world is cutthroat. You need
Right.
God, and not that God needs us, not that God needs help, but you need the Bible plus other things to help you. Sometimes indeed the Bible does have everything, every question that you have about life. The Bible has the answer to it. But sometimes you would need to read something else for the Bible to be revealed to you.
Exactly.
The verse, a chapter to be revealed to you. You might need to read something else, and because that book gave you a perspective. Now when you read the Bible, you're like, oh, you see the Bible talk about this. So
Facts.
So
Facts. That is facts.
so I think this is the end. This is the end. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah. No. Well, all I can do, I can lead by saying, ensure you read, regardless of your race, but particularly black people, y'all need to start reading and not and a lot of times you get, oh, you read, of course I read love books. Please, look, love books aren't going to get you ahead in
Romantic
life.
books.
It's not going to get you ahead in life. Small, you don't gotta read like how I started 48 Laws of Power. There are a lot of smaller books that you can read and get ahead. You want to do a little business, you want to do something. It's not, the thing is, and I just really need to tell a lot of people this, it's not just having the idea that, oh, I want to open this business and just go into it alone. You need to have or read about a lot of things because you're going into business. You can be dealing with customers, you can be dealing with other business people, you can go and make investments and all these things because sometimes it's a case whereby when you go into this business, you're successful right away. All this money is in, but you're now reading the content to keep you afloat. So it's like I was watching something and it says you can make $10 million. And if you don't know how to manage that $10 million, you have no money. So it just be 10 million just come in and it just go through.
That's the same thing that happens with persons who won the lottery. More oftentimes than not, these individuals don't know to manage. The fact that you're playing lottery, in my opinion, the fact that you're playing lottery, mean you don't even know how to manage money. So, because you could get, I remember this thing, you could get struck by lightning 10 times before you win the lottery. People don't get struck by lightning like that. Imagine.
Exactly.
So there's so much to talk about. There's
Yeah.
so much we have to
We're gonna get into
yeah,
it.
we're gonna get into it. But before we leave, how Guyanese are you, Kevin?
Yeah. Oh my god. I think you should go first because like all the while I knew this question was coming. I was like, I can't. You ever
Honestly,
ask a
it's
question?
kind of a difficult question though, because the premise of or the base of the question is when I ask how Guyanese are you, I'm asking what's the most Guyanese thing you have done for the week. Because since we're going to going to be doing videos every week, you gotta think about what's the most Guyanese thing that you do for the week. The one thing I could talk about is speaking Creole. But is that just honestly it's a hard question. I think we might get into this question, but
No, I think you should take on the challenge.
what's the most Guyanese thing I do, man?
I don't even know. I don't know. I mean, minding people business is like a universal thing.
Yeah. And
But,
I
like,
talk about
there's,
something tailored to
um,
Guyanese. Like, what Guyanese people is do?
I don't know. Help us down in the comments, please.
Yeah.
Please help us. Please help us.
Because I can't really remember, apart from speaking Creole.
Yeah.
This is more this every day. But this is not just Guyanese people speak Creole.
I
We
don't.
speak Creole, but
I don't know.
the most Guyanese but
Help us out. Here's one. I just said that we should keep it. I don't know because
it's a difficult. I think, or probably the question is too broad. We'll refine
Probably.
it.
and we'll let you know. We'll definitely let you know in the next broadcast. So really and truly, thank you
Thank you
for
guys.
helping us. Remember, make your comments below. Also,
Like it. Please share it.
yes, subscribe. Come
Yes,
on.
yeah.
Subscribe. It's just
And if you're going to be critical, please do it constructively.
yes.
You know.
please. Help us. Help
When
us.
and
help
for,
you.
for those of you who don't know what constructive criticism is, point out what went wrong and what we can do to change it. That's constructive criticism. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you. I hope that you guys we gave you something to talk about, to think about, food for thought, and I hope that we even brought something of value to you guys. There's so much more that we have to talk about. Y'all don't even know. But thank you. You have anything
Yeah.
else to say?
No, I'm good.
I hope you
Alright.
guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you
Yeah.
next time.
Later from the Davids.
Mm.